My name is Ryan Vandendyck. I am from Vancouver, Canada, and my business is called Eden Industries, and we do video game development. I loved playing video games when I was a little kid. I couldn't get enough of them, and there was a point when my mom almost kind of jokingly became frustrated because she's like, I buy you all these games, you beat them so fast, I don't know what to do anymore. And she said, you're so good at playing games, why don't you make games? And I was 8 years old, and I thought, yep, that's a good idea. And literally from that moment on, that was my goal. I'm gonna make video games. The thing was, I had so many ideas in my head. I wanted to get out there, and it's kind of hard to do that if you're kind of working at another company. And so eventually I was like, you know what? I wanna get these ideas out there. I wanna make something. I just have to go for it. And so I just took the leap and I made my company, and we've been going ever since. For a long time, about 10 years, we were pretty small. We were just kind of making our own little things. Maybe at our peak, 3 full-time and 4 part-time, kind of thing. It was about that scale. We started to get a little bit of attention from, kind of bigger companies that said, wow, you've been around 10 years. You got a good solid team of people who know how to make games. You've tackled big engineering challenges and everything. Can we hire you to do work for us? And we're like, yeah, okay, that sounds all right. It really revolutionized kind of the company. We went from, 3 full-time people to 30 almost overnight. And it was right around that time that, I sort of first heard about branches. Cody emailed me, and, this moment of transition for my company, I knew that I didn't know how to do business. I could make games, I figured that out, but I knew that I didn't know. And I had no ego about it. I don't know what I'm doing. And I knew I needed something. I didn't know what. I think there's a couple things I really want to try to have an impact in. So number one, I want to say that I'm a Christian and we make great games. Because I think what's happened in the past is, there have been some, Christians, they made, Bible games, back in the day, and they weren't really very good. But I think what happened was it got this reputation of Christians, they don't have any quality to their work. And I think that's a really, that's a disservice to God, I think, right? That, God gives us skills that are amazing. And if we're doing a shoddy job at our work, I don't think this is reflecting well on God. And so, number one, I want to be a Christian who makes amazing games. People can look at me and say, wow, they're Christian and they make amazing games. Who would have thought, just that kind of surprise, I think. It sounds so simple, but I think it really is something that the industry really needs, the idea that, the Christians can make good games. The other thing I really like to do is provide a place where Christian game developers can feel like they can really excel. There's just not a lot of Christian game developers, in the industry. It's like a lot of tech industries. It's not the kind of industry that attracts, I think, a lot of Christians. It's a little hostile to ideas of faith and things like that. But I really want to create a place where it's the opposite. Not that we only have Christian employees. I think I still want to reach out to everybody, but really have a place where Christian employees can feel at home, that a place that they can excel, do amazing work, and kind of worship God, with their work. And then finally, the impact I want to have is really start to plant the seeds of ideas in people's hearts with some of our games. So the first game we released, it was a very kind of simple kind of game. You played as a sine wave moving through space, and you just adjust the wavelength and amplitude. And that's what the game was. But before every level, it was a loading. I kind of had this little story told by this narrator about, creation and because you're you're a light wave. So it's talking about light and darkness. And so in this very allegorical sense, sort of talking about, God and creation and, things falling into darkness, and, I think I'm very inspired by, things like C.S. Lewis and the Chronicles of Narnia, right? Telling this story, of, sort of Jesus, of redemption, of sacrifice, but in a way that, is an allegory, right? It's sort of opening people's hearts to these ideas without them, being maybe, hit over the head with a Bible verse kind of thing, right? And, maybe once those ideas take root in their heart, then ideas of faith and God and the Bible, it kind of rings true to something very deep in them that they didn't really know that was there. But if, our games can kind of, just plant those seeds, I think that would be the third kind of big impact that I look for in my business. I think the Impact Fund is absolutely fantastic. Everyone who, has given to that is, truly so generous. And the great thing about branches is, the leaders come from all around the world and are all doing so many different things, right? And I think what the cool thing with the Impact Fund is it can really make huge transformations in every possible industry, So for me, that would be, hey, I want to make a video game. Like, for example, I want to make a video game about the life of King David. I think it's amazing. I think it basically writes itself, the things he did. Whereas, the other leaders, I mean, they are, doing schools and training centers and, feeding the community, helping malnutrition. Like, those things couldn't be any more different in a way, but just so impactful, and really across the spectrum, it can really just do such an amazing positive change in every aspect of society.